Whenever we think of the Caribbean, it is easy for our minds to automatically connect with a vision of the sun, beach, and clear blue water. The most exotic and beautiful sights on this earth are hidden in the islands of the Caribbean. Nevertheless, the Caribbean remains more than what meets the tourist's eye. Once we look past exoticism, we can sadly find crime, civil unrest, political corruption, controversy, poverty, and several other societal disadvantages. As such, not all areas can be considered visitor-friendly. As a tourist looking to explore the unknown, it remains imperative to be informed on the safe places to go, as well as those to avoid. No country on the planet is completely devoid of crime, from mass shootings in the United States which claim hundreds of lives a year, to the potential dangers of terrorism and terrorist attacks which constantly strike parts of the Middle East. Although it's important to highlight, the fear of crime in the Caribbean is often overblown, and generally, the Caribbean remains one of the safest places to travel, and that crime often does not affect the tourist areas of these beautiful Caribbean countries. However, you may still want to consult our list of the Caribbean's most dangerous cities before planning your next trip. For example, Haiti is often the victim of natural disasters, periodic internal political turmoil, and gang-related unrest, but is generally not considered a dangerous Caribbean country outside the boundaries of these extreme political turmoil the country has experienced in the recent past. However, even in these countries on our top 10 list of most dangerous places in the Caribbean, please note that tourists and tourism areas are very rarely targets of violent crime anywhere in the region. Therefore, this is not to discourage you from traveling to these beautiful countries, but rather to alert you to take the standard security precautions seriously when traveling to a destination known to have higher than normal crime problems. As a whole, Caribbean people are very welcoming, and the culture is known worldwide for having good friendly vibes. Before we start our list, a few caveats. Firstly, listing which country is more dangerous than another is difficult, and even the smartest among us find it difficult. Therefore, we will use the proxy of homicide rate to determine which is relatively more dangerous. The homicide rate is a generally accepted method which is calculated as the number of murders in a country per 100,000 people. This way, one can see when compared to other countries which places has more homicides adjusted for its population. It is important to note here, however, that homicide rates are not all crimes. Crime is a complex phenomenon, and to distill a crime down to just a homicide rate does not explain the full picture. However, for our simple case of comparison, it will have to do. Secondly, we are not trying to offend or cast blame on any Caribbean country. The Caribbean is a relatively safe place to travel and enjoy fully. We are just stating the facts and giving you a comparison. With that said, let's get started. Please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for our future videos. To start our list at the number 10 spot, we have the island of Puerto Rico. Despite being an unincorporated territory of the United States, Puerto Rico is a Caribbean island as well. Relatedly, this island finds its way on this list due to an enduring struggle with crime and political corruption. A cycle of violence has been identified through an increase in organized crime, illegal drug trade, and alleged governmental involvement in such violations. Indeed, the island is not as safe as it used to be, especially in the city of San Juan. The most recent figures put the country's homicide rate at 18.5, corresponding to 529 homicides for the country's 3.3 million population. At number 9, we have the northern tourism giant of the Caribbean, the Bahamas. In general, the Bahamas is considered safe, but the country still experiences enough crime to push it to our number 9 spot. While violent crime does not occur as often as some other Caribbean nations on our list, there has been an increase in violence in specific places like the capital city, Nassau. Despite the city being highly touristic, which tends to come with increased security, the danger may still lurk in less developed local residential parts of the town. It is therefore always best to be cautious of one's belongings, use good judgment, and avoid high-risk behaviors. The homicide rate in the Bahamas is 31.96, which equates to 122 murders in 2019, the last year with verified data. Luckily, homicides have been declining in the city since 2015, indicating that the country will slowly move down on our list. The second country on our list and the number 8 placed country is Guyana. Crime levels in the country are relatively higher overall when compared to the rest of the Caribbean. And while the homicide rate may not reflect the relative danger in the country, it is important to be cautious on the island as police capacity is low. There are regular and armed violent robberies against businesses and individuals, and there is also a risk of passers-by being caught up in such incidents. In addition to this, the police tend to respond with firearms if shot at or threatened, making dangerous situations even more dangerous. As you can expect then, the country's homicide rate is currently 20.0, with 157 murders recorded for its 790,000 population. Getting the ball rolling at number 7, we have the tiny island of Dominica. Dominica may surprise many to be on our list, as the country is generally seen as a tiny inconspicuous island. But that small size belies the relatively high homicide rate of 20.8. That is a murder count of 15 for a country with a population of 72,000. While that number is high, the reality is that most of these crimes are gang-related and occur on the interior of the island, away from the major touristy or populated areas. At number 6, we have the island of St. Lucia in the Eastern Caribbean. St. Lucia is an unassuming one on our list, as when it comes to crime, St. Lucia is not a country that generally comes to mind. However, while the tourist visits are trouble-free, outside of the touristy areas in the country, there have been incidents of crime including murder, armed robbery, and sexual assault. At the most recent count, the country saw a homicide rate of 21.4 persons per 100,000 people, which is 39 murders recorded for the year. Breaking into the top 5 spots, we have the Central American CARICOM country of Belize. Belize has experienced moderate increases in both violence and criminality. Belize has seen increased incidents of violent crime for armed criminal gangs that have also been known to operate in the past in the densely forested areas of Belize, particularly around the border area with Guatemala. In general, however, crime is restricted to crimes of opportunity, with the majority of muggings occurring in the capital Belize City, but also in some other destinations such as San Pedro, Key Caulker, Placencia, and San Ignacio. The country's most recent homicide rate stood at 25.7 per 100,000, or about 102 murders for the year 2020. At number 4, we have the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Murder rates have risen significantly over the years in this tiny twin island nation of Trinidad and Tobago, with most of the infractions occurring outside of the capital city of Port of Spain in towns like La Ventil, Morvant, and Barataria. This has caused the country's murder rate to push higher to 30.65 per 100,000, which is 420 murders for its entire population. The majority of crimes are linked to illegal drug trades and gang-related issues. Murder also appears to be on the rise, with the latter being closely linked to gang violence. Though Tobago appears to be much safer than Trinidad and crime tends to occur within local communities nonetheless, visitors should maintain at least the same level of security awareness as they would in their home countries, because these types of crime are not unique to the Caribbean region, but generally can be somewhere close to wherever you live in this world today. Coming to number 3 on our list, we have the unassuming twin islands of St. Kitts and Nevis. Crime unfortunately has gotten much worse in recent years on the two main islands. The capital city of Basseterre has held the record for the highest murder rates in any capital city in the world, and so for years. St. Kitts and Nevis's homicide rate in 2019 was 36.1, which translates to 18 murders during that period. 18 homicides may sound reasonable, but considering the country's population is only 54,000, that number is relatively high. The majority of crimes appear to be linked to both gang activity and illegal drug trade. On the bright side, measures have been taken to reduce the level of crime for a while now, and the country has seen a reduction in crime from prior years, when its homicide rate was an astounding 68 per 100,000. Coming in at number 2 on our list and runner-up, we have the islands of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This may come as a surprise to many, but the country of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has truly been struggling with its crime rate in recent years. The country as of last year has reported a homicide rate of 36.5 per 100,000 people. This equates to about 40 homicides for a country with a population of only 111,000 people. The current murder rate in St. Vincent and the Grenadines has caused alarm in many circles, and rightly so. Before we get to number 1, if this presentation was of some value to you, we would greatly appreciate it if you would give this video a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for our next video. Thank you. In the number 1 spot for the unenviable position of the most dangerous Caribbean country, we have Jamaica. While Jamaica remains one of the most popular destinations for international travel, mostly from Europe and the United States, it is extremely important to take care when visiting the country. Jamaica has ranked way ahead of the rest of the Caribbean in terms of homicide rate, with a reported 43.85 killings per 100,000 people. That is 1,287 murders over a year. While several visitor warnings have been issued concerning dangerous crime in the country, the relatively good news is that these tend to happen away from the touristy areas of the country. The frequently visited island has the second highest murder rate in the world and serves as a site for a prolific drug trade system. Both Kingston and Montego Bay are known for being dangerous in and around certain local areas. Check out this video on our travel channel, also linked below, about the top 10 safest Caribbean islands to visit or live in 2022. We would just like to reiterate that this list only serves to highlight readily available statistics and not to defame any country. Crime is a constant struggle in all of our lands, and we must fight to eradicate it. And while the homicide rate is not a perfect indicator of danger, it serves as a great comparison point for us to frame various countries. How do you feel about crime in the Caribbean in comparison to the rest of the world, which are not immune from these challenges? Has this list altered your perspective on the safety of traveling to the region? Go ahead and share your thoughts in the comment section below, and feel free to suggest topics you would like to see us cover. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share our channel with others, and turn on the notification bell for our next video as we explore the Caribbean, its people and cultures together. Thanks again for watching. See you in the next video.